Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I want to welcome everybody to this evening's meeting. So let's go ahead and stand and hear the prayer from Mr. Stepp and the pledge of allegiance to the flag.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this time. Thank you for all the blessings you bestow upon Talbot County, all our residents, all of our elected leaders, and just thank you for blessing the world we live in. We know we live in some interesting time these days, Father, and please give us the guidance as wisdom as your local elected leaders. Please give us just the comfort, the wisdom, the knowledge, the strength to navigate everyone's daily struggles, and just thank you for being there for us in all the ways that you are. In Jesus' most precious and holy name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Protect the Holy Land.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Stepp. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody being here. Okay, let's get started on the agenda tonight. Is there any additions, deletions, or corrections to tonight's agenda?
Yes, Mr.
Yeah.
President, I have
Yep.
amendment to the agenda to reconsider the proposed amendment to the education article for 2024 legislative session.
Okay,
Second.
okay.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second to go ahead and change the agenda. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote, please?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay. So do we want to put it somewhere, or we just want to open for discussion?
We can discuss now if you'd like.
Yeah, sure.
Want
Let's
to?
do it now.
Yeah.
Yep.
So last meeting, we agreed to send the education article up to our legislator for discussion. And the motion, or what I would like us to discuss, is that we put a pause, put a pin in it, have the meeting with the Board of Education, the work session, hear their thoughts, go ahead and create the process and what we decide to do so that everything is complete and concise when we send it to the legislature. And also find out, because I know there was a consideration for if we did a special election, find out what the cost to a special district election would be. And I believe the Board of Elections can provide that information. But I just believe we should have all the information before putting something together to send to
I
our
see. Okay,
legislators.
okay,
I would-
okay.
You don't, I would just add to that,
Yeah,
that I think
sure.
what we need to do is to reconsider the vote that we took
Okay.
and rescind that
Mhm.
so that the further investigation into and answers to the questions that Councilman Keisha is requesting are presented and digested, and then we make an informed decision as a result of that.
Okay. Mr. Lesher?
The motion to consider should come from a member that voted for.
Yep, I can do that.
Mhm.
Or
Okay.
is there any discussion before I put that motion on the floor?
No.
Okay.
It sounds appropriate to engage the board.
Mhm.
Okay,
It does.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was, engaging them as the original
right,
Yeah.
intent as we come
absolutely.
up with the process.
Right. Mhm.
Right,
Yeah.
and I just think that, taking a pause and taking a step back
Right.
to have that meeting with them, as
I
we
think-
all vowed to do, open communication with the Board of Ed and our
Right.
community when we were elected.
It is my impression that we're supposed to have that meeting before we send that letter anyway, right?
Well, that was actually supposed to be the process.
Yeah, that's what we thought we were
Yeah.
doing anyway.
Yeah.
But also making sure that we find out the costs, because to say that it's costly to have a special election, well, we don't have any documentation that tells us exactly how much a special election's gonna cost. So in order to make that decision, I think we need to make it with the proper information
Okay.
to know exactly how much it's gonna cost, because certainly we do not wanna put a burden on our taxpayers. But anyway, we can take it to the voters to vote for that vacancy. We would wanna do that.
Okay.
So, if that is the motion and what the plan is, then I think we have to rescind the vote on the resolution that we passed. Or the
So,
The direction to staff to prepare the
direction
letter.
to staff.
Mhm.
So we have to, if we're gonna reinvestigate an issue that we voted on, we have to rescind the vote so we can do the investigation and then vote again.
Yes.
Okay.
So the motion is to rescind the vote and to get all the information and meet with the Board of Education so that we can make a concise recommendation to our legislature on the process to fill a vacancy for the Board of Education.
And Mr. Thomas, are you good with this?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. So, so we got a motion on the floor. Madam Secretary, could you read the motion, please? Just quick, just not the whole thing, but just, you know what I'm saying, just the
I
quick.
can't repeat it.
Yeah,
Well, I know
exactly.
what you're saying.
Okay, all right,
I just had motion to rescind the vote,
Okay.
to meet with the Board of Education.
perfect.
The
Perfect.
motion was to rescind the council's decision to send the proposed legislation to the local delegation so that we can meet with the Board of Education and
Correct.
discuss further before
Okay.
proposing the legislation.
But we
Thank you,
were,
Mr. Thomas.
but we were going to do that already. I mean, that was part of what it is, we were coming up with a process
Never did that.
to do so.
No, we didn't do that. We didn't rescind the vote to do that. We just looked it over.
Council's action was to send the letter to afterward meet with the board, perhaps to seek amendments afterward. So this is simply reordering the process.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you do with a bill that you've passed that you're now reconsidering?
The
That's
motion-
my
Yeah, we're
question.
waiting for
That's
dis-
my question.
resolution, it's something
Yeah,
by the county.
we're waiting for
Gotcha.
we're waiting for the discussion to happen.
Yeah, and I
So-
just made the motion
So
to rescind
isn't the
it.
vote on it
Yeah.
to present it?
Yes,
You
I
want
just
vote
made the
to
motion to
rescind.
rescind it.
Yeah, that's what I
So
thought.
you're
Okay.
combining the vote to rescind and order the new direction in the same vote.
Yes.
Yes, that's just what I wanted to clarify.
Yes.
Sorry, no problem.
No problem.
Yes.
I'll drink more coffee.
Okay,
Were you seconding?
Yes.
okay. Madam Secretary, I got a motion second. Can you call the vote, please?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
No.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay. All right, next is the minutes from September 26th. Is there any additions, deletions, or corrections to the minutes? Okay,
No, Mr.
hearing none, the chair moves that the minutes be accepted as unanimous consent. Okay, the disbursements of October 17th and 24th. Does council's had time to review that? Is there any additions, deletions, or corrections to the disbursements?
No.
Okay, hearing none, the chair moves that accepted as unanimous consent. Okay, first tonight on the proclamation is Operation Green Light for the veterans. If you guys want to come on up, that'd be great. Madam Secretary, would you like to go ahead and start and read that into the record, please? I'd appreciate it.
Proclamation, Operation Green Light for Veterans. Whereas the residents of Talbot County have great respect, admiration, and the utmost gratitude for all the men and women who have selflessly served our country and the Talbot County community in the U.S. Armed Forces. And whereas the contributions and sacrifices of those who have served in the U.S. Armed Forces have been vital in maintaining the freedoms and way of life enjoyed by our citizens. And whereas Talbot County seeks to honor individuals who have made countless sacrifices for freedom by placing themselves in harm's way for the good of all. And whereas veterans continue to serve our community in the American Legion, Veterans of Foreign Wars, religious groups, civil service, and by functioning as county veterans service officers throughout the nation to help fellow former service members access more than $52 billion in federal health, disability, and compensation benefits each year. And whereas approximately 200,000 service members transition to civilian life annually, with 44% to 72% experiencing high levels of stress during the transition from military to civilian life. And whereas an estimated 90% of service members who deploy for military operations and experience or witness a traumatic event are at a higher risk for developing post-traumatic stress disorder, and many are at a high risk for suicide during the first year following military service. And whereas the National Association of Counties encourages all counties, parishes, and boroughs to recognize Operation Green Light for Veterans. And whereas Talbot County appreciates the sacrifices of our United States military personnel and believes specific recognition should be accorded to them. Therefore, be it resolved, in observance of Operation Green Light for Veterans, Talbot County encourages its citizens to recognize the importance of honoring those who made immeasurable sacrifices to preserve freedom by displaying green lights in their place of business or residence from November 6, 2023 through November 12, 2023. Given under our hands in the Great Seal of Talbot County, this 24th day of October in the year of our Lord, 2023.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. That was great. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Yes.
My name is Nina. I am the Marketing and Events Coordinator with Midshore Behavioral Health. We're
Okay.
very excited to start being a part of Operation Greenlight this year with Talbot County. We have seen a huge expansion of behavioral health resources over the past few years. We're just going to see more of that with our governor's commitment to expanding our funding. But resources are only good if people know about them and can utilize them. And Midshore Behavioral Health is very committed to making sure that service members, whether active duty or veterans, have access to not just behavioral health services, but ones that are culturally competent and offer a variety of services. So we are using this time, it's November 6th to the 12th, where we will be, obviously, lighting up green for the occasion, but also across social media, sharing services across the Eastern Shore for our military and veteran. And we've been partnering with the Maryland Commitment to Veterans, and we have Dina here. She'll explain a bit more about what they do, and VAMSA, which is the Veteran and Military Support Alliance. And we're going to be sharing a lot of info. They have some really great support groups, some for combat PTSD, a really good, very well attended weekly coffee meetup at a Dunkin' Donuts in Centerville that I know they're trying to expand across the whole Eastern Shore with Dunkin' Donuts. As well as stuff for family members and caregivers, et cetera, book clubs. So really trying to get out access to those resources. And then following that, we'll be highlighting some of our veterans on the shore as well.
That's great.
Thank you.
That's great.
I didn't know I had to speak, so.
It's all right. That's okay.
Which I don't have a problem.
Yeah.
My name is Dina Karp. I am the Eastern Regional Resource Coordinator and Strategic Partnership Coordinator for Maryland's Commitment to Veterans. Our program was created in 2008 by Lieutenant Governor Brown in order to assist with veterans who were returning from the OIF-OEF war. Our program has grown. I cover all 9 counties on the Eastern Shore and oftentimes through the state. So we have a 1-800 number that is 24/7. So any service member, active duty military, or their families can call that number. That number will connect them to their regional resource coordinator in their area, and what they will do is explain what they need. So I can tell you in the past 10 years, I have assisted veterans with broken dentures, housing, finding, things for their housing. We have a small amount of crisis funds, so we can help them with those things, and behavioral health and substance misuse, no matter the discharge. So we can assist them in several different ways. We are a part of the Governor's Challenge to End Suicide. My director is very active and has a very big role in that going on. I want to thank all the gentlemen, anyone here that has served in the military. It is a true honor to serve them and their families. So if anybody needs anything, I am more than willing to come and talk to your offices. I'm certain there is an amazing number of people who've served in the military that you do not realize. And we can offer help for them at any time, and even just a connection. We aren't the VA, but I have numbers for the VA. So
That's great. That's great.
So
I
thank you very
appreciate that.
much for recognizing us. And again, I will leave my card, and Nina has my contact information. So if anyone needs anything, or a veteran calls you and needs assistance, or service member, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'll do the best I can to assist them.
You said you do have a 1-800 number?
It's 1-877
Okay,
770-4801.
okay.
If you need to contact me directly, it is 410-382-0781.
Okay, sounds great.
All right? Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Did you want to introduce anybody else? I knew they wanted to talk. Huh? You good? You good? You good? Okay, okay.
Hi, I'm Alicia Salisbury. I'm the Forensic Mental Health Program Manager, fellow runners.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
Thank you so much for having us. So one of the things that we do at Midshore Behavioral Health is the Forensic Mental Health Program Manager. Our department, it's a forensic case manager. I do evaluations, which does treatment recommendations and considerations for some of the specialty courts that we have on the Midshore for Kent, Queen Anne, Talbot, Caroline, and Dorchester County. And one of our neighboring counties actually has a specialty court specifically for veterans, Dorchester County. So working inside some of the facilities of like the detention centers, some of the behavioral health providers, wherever there's a need, one of the questions we always ask is, have you ever served in the military? They are true heroes and we owe them much gratitude, and oftentimes there's a linkage that's missing for services for them, and we want to help enable, optimal living and create those linkages for them.
That's
So
great. That's
thanks again for having us, and our number is 410-770-4801, and I'm extension 315 for any questions at all.
Right.
And thank you for your service.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, I'm Lisa Short. I'm the Behavioral Health Coordinator for Adult Services with Midshore Behavioral Health. My role is to help families, friends, veterans, all adults navigate the resources and services here in the Midshore. So anybody can call up, express what their need is, what they're looking for, and my job is to help them link with that.
That's great. All right, appreciate it. Okay, council,
No, but being the mother of a veteran who served in Afghanistan, I thank you for your services. When he came back, being someone that was in government and couldn't help him to link up with the proper services, I am so grateful for all the work that you do. And now he's decided to be in the reserves and jump out of airplanes, so he's doing good. Okay. Okay, yes. But thank you for being here tonight.
Having been married to a Vietnam veteran, I know what the needs are, and he was also awarded a, what do you call it? A number of things. And I'm so glad to hear that you're offering these services because they're so desperately needed. I know other veterans too from later on, and this is just a wonderful program. I support you 100%. Thank you for what you do.
Mr. Lesher?
Well, these are important services. I know that Operation Greenlight will be a new opportunity for visibility for Talbot County. So thank you for approaching us, and I hope that we can help you achieve that visibility that you're seeking.
Just ladies, thank you for being here. Thank you for all you're doing for our veterans. To all our veterans, I see we have a good amount here in the room today. Guys, thank you so very much for what you do for our country, what you have done for our country and continue to do, both domestic as well as abroad. Just can't thank you enough for everything. So thank you.
And I will follow up with the same thing. You guys are truly heroes to us, that's for sure. That's what you protected us, and we're so thankful you guys are there for helping in need. And also, just to let you know, we will be lighting the courthouse up too. So that's going to be special too. So if you guys would come on up, and the veterans, would you guys come on up too, please? So we'll take a picture.
VFW man. Short people up front, tall people in the back. There we go. There we go. Pop out. You need to pop out so they can see you.
Actually, Dave, do you mind if you get on the top as well? Sure.
See how long the knees can hold up, right?
All right, guys, you ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, very nice, guys. I got it.
Beautiful.
So, I guess we'll have, you guys want to come outside, we can take some better pictures.
Okay. Thank you all. Thank you.
Okay, the next proclamation is Economic Development Week. Chris Angie, you want to come on up?
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
So I'm Cassandra Van Hooser. I'm the Director of Economic Development and Tourism for Talbot County. I'll be short and sweet. It's really hard to follow the veterans, by the way.
It is, yeah, yeah.
But this is important too, and I'm really just here to say thank you for all the support that you give to the business community in Talbot County. I, early in my career, searched the world for prosperous communities, and I had an aha moment. I've told this story before. If you've heard it before, forgive me for repeating. But I was at our Business Appreciation Summit several years ago when I was still just the tourism director, and I had this aha moment when I looked across the room and I saw all of the leaders of the business community, and I was like, I found the power source. So it is my belief, truly, that a strong business community is the foundation for all of the wonderful things that happen in Talbot County. You know, without the prosperous business community, you cannot have the nonprofits that we have here and all of the wonderful organizations doing the work that they do. So truly, I found the power source. And just a couple of statistics for you. I wanted to point out the number of businesses that we have here in Talbot County. So according to the United States Census Bureau, we have 1,457 businesses with at least one W-2 employee. And then, here's a number that I find really astounding. 4,364 non-employer establishments. So those are your independent contractors, your real estate agents, your consultants. And so we have, even before COVID, have been a haven for people who work remotely or who work independently. So we have a very strong business community, more businesses than those counties that touch us on the Eastern Shore. We're a hub for healthcare, for retail, for financial services, and for tourism. So I just think that this is a spectacular place. And again, I want to say thank you for all the support that you give to the business community and to our department for the services that we provide. So,
Thank you. Mr. Stepp?
I'll give the thanks right back to you, Ms. Cassandra. I mean, you do a phenomenal job. Thanks for representing economic development, tourism, hospitality, everything here in Talbot County. Appreciate all the hard work you and your staff do. It's one of the many things that just makes this county a wonderful place to live and be. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lesher?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Everything that Councilman Stepp said.
Okay.
Yes, I'd like to congratulate you on all that you do. Your dedication to our community is priceless.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'm biased.
Yeah.
so you
Yeah.
know how I feel about
Yeah.
the profession. Hardest job in
Yeah.
the world,
It is hard.
but I thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.
And I will the same. You really are a bright light. You're really the business face of the community, and you serve it well. That's for sure. And we really, really appreciate everything that you do. And there's not too many businesses in Talbot County that don't know you.
That's right.
So that just shows your dedication and loyalty to this county, and we really do appreciate that. We got a little gift for you up here. Yeah, so come on up here.
You want to have it?
Do you want to read it?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we better do that too, you know? Yep.
Proclamation Economic Development Week, October 23rd through the 27th, 2023. Whereas economic stability and growth are key to the prosperity and quality of life of Talbot County and its citizens. And whereas the staff of the Talbot County Department of Economic Development and Tourism, in partnership with members of the Economic Development Commission and the Tourism Board, champion the economic well-being of the business community by helping create, retain, and expand jobs, facilitating growth, enhancing wealth, and providing a stable tax base. And whereas the Economic Development and Tourism staff and Economic Development Commission members work together to form strategic partnerships with employers, institutions of higher learning, and state agencies to attract and retain high-quality talent, laying the groundwork for attracting and retaining the workforce of tomorrow. And whereas the Talbot County Department of Economic Development and Tourism staff and its partners work to stimulate the community's entrepreneurial spirit while supporting the development of the next generation of small businesses and business leaders, setting the course for Talbot County's future. And whereas the Talbot County Department of Economic Development and Tourism is recognized as an award-winning driver in igniting economic strength and stability for Talbot County by connecting businesses and nonprofit organizations with resources essential for growth and sustainability. And whereas tourism and business development go hand in hand in Talbot County, with our people making it work to provide quality jobs and economic vitality. Now therefore, we, the County Council of Talbot County, in keeping with the state of Maryland and jurisdictions throughout the state, do hereby proclaim the week of October 23rd through 27th, 2023 as Economic Development Week in Talbot County, and encourage all citizens to join with us in recognizing and reaffirming the importance of business development on a local and statewide basis. Given under our hands in the Great Seal of Talbot County this 24th day of October in the year of our Lord 2023.
Thank
I
you,
have
Madam
one
Secretary.
special request.
Sure.
So my colleague from the Small Business Development Center, Rich Loeffler, is
Okay.
here with my colleague Rich Setter.
Okay.
And I told the United States Senate Committee on Small Business and Entrepreneurship that I would like to clone Rich Loeffler. He's that important to the work that we do. So I want to invite him up to have his picture made as well.
Absolutely. Come on up, all of you. Yep.
So I will move the proclamation.
Okay.
Second.
Second.
Okay. We got a motion and second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Okay. Okay. Yep.
All right, very nice, guys.
Okay.
Actually helped me and my husband write our first business plan.
Wow. That's good. That's good. Okay. Next on the agenda is a presentation of the Chapel District Elementary School renovation and addition project design. One of my favorite guys. One of them. One of them. How you doing, Kevin?
Good.
Good, good.
Thank you, President
Yep,
Callahan.
yep.
Good evening, members of the council and staff. With me tonight is Peter Weinbrenner, principal architect with Horde Copeland Macht, firm responsible for the design of the project. And I'm gonna get this thing. Good evening.
Is it on?
Oh, Susan, here we go again.
Go to slideshow up top. And from beginning all the way to the left.
Thank you. All right. So also with us tonight is Lindsay Hill, project manager from Whiting Turner. She's in the audience, and we'll call on her if we need her. So this evening, we come before the council to present the design development submission, very high level presentation, and we are attempting to make it very brief. And Peter's going to be carrying the weight on the presentation, and I'm going to follow up with the estimated cost. So I'm going to jump right into the presentation.
Go to the next one, that's fine. I believe you're familiar with the project from when I was here 2 months ago, but just to brief you again, we are renovating the existing facility in its totality, as well as creating a new, three additions totaling about 16,600 square feet with a design capacity of 471 students in grades pre-K through 5. The site is about 19 and a half acres, and there have been previous renovations and additions done, but it is certainly time to bring it up to the level again. We certainly don't expect you to see all of this, but we're well on schedule and on track for our process of the design. Design development is the second of the 3 phases. It's where more detail gets introduced, and it's a major milestone for the state's approval and funding process, and that will go in next week, pending approval and agreement by everyone else. Then we move into the final construction document phase, which will take us through March, and at which time we'll be developing the bids and the guarantee maximum price, which Whiting Turner will be overseeing. Construction start then in the late summer, following through until completion 2 years later. Just to remind everyone of the site, most of you are probably familiar with it. The school sits close to Cordova Road, and then fields occupy the vast area in the back, parking and bus loops surrounding the school as well. So that's the existing conditions. Our proposed site plan, you can see the location of the 3 additions, one in the lower right corner, one in the back, and then one in the back left. And we'll talk about those in more detail in a second. We're also revamping and expanding the drop-off area for parents and cars. And that will also include a dedicated zone for the Critchlow-Atkins facility for drop-off, pickup, and parking for that facility. As we get into the existing building, the main footprint will be remaining. We will be doing some reassigning of spaces and some minor wall relocations. So when we go to the new addition image, you can see, next slide. We have the major addition at the front, which will be a new entry and the new relocated media center, plus some administrative spaces. In the back right is the Critchlow-Atkins component, relocating from its current location in the lower left of this plan. There's also some mechanical spaces added there, as well as a new mechanical yard in that area. And then the third addition is small in the upper left, which allows us to right-size all of the pre-K and K classrooms from their current size, and requires a small addition in the back to facilitate those sizes and quantity of rooms. And then as I said, we are mainly renovating in place the rest of the spaces, with a few exceptions and a few relocations. This is a conceptual view of the new entry, roughly coming off from Cordova Road into the school. The entry is in this location now, just set back further. So we're bringing that forward with the library and new canopy. And then you can see down the left side, just off the screen, is where the buses are, and that's currently where they pick up and drop off as well. And this is a view from the other corner, looking back towards the Critchlow-Atkins from the playfields, the new addition, as well as the entry, and then you can just see the mechanical court just past that canopy. There'll be a large water tank there for fire service, et cetera, as well as mechanical equipment. It'll be enclosed by a wall, so there's access but not visible. And this is just a rendering of the inside, proposed inside of the new library. Lots of glass, trying to make it very age appropriate for children, playful but not too kitschy. So certainly we're in the process of continuing to refine these designs and colors, and we have a really great group at the school that's helping guide us on this.
So that is the very, very, very quick summary of the design development submission. Obviously, Peter and his team have a very detailed submission that has to go to the state. As far as the cost estimate that will be accompanying the submission, the council has that detailed cost estimate broken down by division for the DD submission. This is just a very quick summary, for the public presentation that breaks down the estimated cost by fiscal year, labeled in gray there, and then the first green line is the 25.182 million for the total estimated cost for construction and site work, and that would match the document that you have. The other costs above the construction and site work are listed there for a total estimated project cost of 28.975 million, and that is approximately a million less than what you saw at the last time you saw me at the capital improvement plan presentation. So, you know, the design is being refined. We are working towards that, as Peter said, the construction document submission, which would be the next milestone, and then we would be bidding out the project. So once again, this is all, you know, cost estimating that we're doing in order to try to accurately predict what this project's going to come out at.
That sounds great. Good.
So
Okay.
that does conclude our presentation tonight. We can certainly answer any questions that the council may have. I am asking that the council consider providing a letter of support that would be part of the submission for the DD submission to the state.
Okay.
So, Mr. Shafer, you said you'll be moving toward bidding this out. That said, the contract for construction manager at risk has already been awarded to Whiting Turner.
Correct, it has, yes.
Okay.
Now, not the so we went to a solicitation process to bring on a construction management firm. So there will be a guaranteed maximum price process contract that will come out of the bid process.
Okay.
Okay.
But their services have been acquired to do that.
I didn't ask this question before in earlier stages of this, but you've emphasized at various iterations about this, the need to enlarge classrooms, and I know that a lot of what you're working with is the existing footprint of the school, and so you're moving interior walls in order to make that happen.
We are primarily moving interior walls to enlarge the kindergarten and pre-K rooms. The existing grade level rooms are within the tolerance of sizes that are being recommended now by the state. So we're minimizing any wall movement in the bulk of the school. When you saw the plan, the group of classrooms that runs along the left edge, those are pre-K and pre-K, and most of the interior walls there are being relocated. But the rest of the building, most of those walls are remaining.
Great.
So we're trying to work with as many walls as we can.
I was toggling back and forth between the slides and trying to figure out where that
It can
change
get a
was
little
happening.
confusing. So those darker blue rooms on the side, those are all, with the exception of the existing Critchlow-Adkins room and the next room, those are where they are now, and the rest, the other 4 rooms represent wall relocations to properly size those rooms for the smaller children.
And can you tell us where we are in the process with the state matching funding on this?
Yes, Mr. Lesher. So we have received schematic design approval for the first submission that we had previously, which was due September 1st. And with that was a cost estimate associated, that was associated with that submission. But the real crux of the issue comes to the capital improvement plan, which you saw in my last presentation, and that is being considered right now by the IAC, and we have not received word back on that yet. But the design was a priority 1 project from the IAC, so usually that translates into construction funding in the following years. So as of right now, still up in the air, but we're hoping that the support for the design is demonstrating the support from the state.
Thank you.
Okay.
No questions?
Good. Okay, guys. So we are asking for approval of the design.
Well, we're just a letter of support for the design development
okay.
submission.
Okay. So is there?
I'll move for the letter of support.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. There's a motion and second for a letter of support. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote, please?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Yep.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Okay. Okay, next on there. Okay, golf course. Okay, the practice range and entertainment enhancement. Rich, you want to come on up and tell us how we're making out?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sandra already took the introduction for Mr. Loeffler. I can
Yeah.
introduce him again if you'd like.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I got Mr. Rich Loeffler with me from the Small Business Development Center. He is a business consultant, and he's here to just help me and talk a little bit about the project here.
Okay, sounds good. So he's going to help you make money.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's good.
Okay. Do I have, is that up there?
Yes, it's on the bottom, no,
Right here.
down, yes, right there.
Got it. So I sent you a wealth of information on this project, and I don't want to bog down the meeting by going over a lot of the details, but I would like to discuss some of the finer points in this project here.
I'm sure you can get it done in 15 minutes, right?
Actually, I've been told less,
Good.
so no problem.
Thank you. Sorry.
Got it. So the major thing on this thing is we talked about back in 2018, and we've discussed this before, is in 2018, we received 96 inches of rain, and the business was kind of devastated financially because obviously golf is very weather dependent. So it got me thinking, what can we do as a business to help insulate ourselves against this, weather that we can't control anything about? And what we came up with is come up with things that are not weather dependent. And this range entertainment enhancement project is something that is not related to the weather. It would be covered shelters where you can practice and play underneath the covered shelters. And you're not immune to only being able to generate revenue during the daylight hours like we are in golf also. You can generate revenue in the evenings by lighting the facility. And these things are popping up all over the place. I just found one today up in Elkton, if you're familiar with Patriots Glen Golf Course. Small golf course up in Elkton, which is building a 44-bay training center, learning enhancement facility. And, Elkton is probably a little bit smaller in population than Easton, so these things are popping up everywhere. This is just a little rendering here of one. You can kind of see, if you can get the clear vision there, of what this facility might look like. A couple tiers. We have enough space to put about 15 bays on the bottom and 15 bays on the top for people to use. The technology company that I'm recommending, there's 3 of them that are out there. One's called Top Tracer, which is probably the most familiar name in golf. There's the ones that are used at the top golf facilities. There's another one called In Range, and then the third one here that would work best for our facility is called TrackMan Range. And basically that's the fee on a monthly basis to use that service. And the thing that's really neat about these things here is how they enhance hitting golf balls. You can see all the different things they do here. I'll go through them real quick. They have games, closest to the pin games, a bullseye game, hit it, capture the flag, magic pond for the kids. And then you can play virtual golf courses up to about 130, of which Hogneck would be one of them you'd be able to do. On-course practice range, and then tournaments where we could have groups and organizations in there playing these virtual golf courses and having tournaments with it. Another one of the enhancements there is something called Power Tee. This is a really cool thing where you have a little hopper in there, you put the balls in it, and then they automatically tee up for you. We have an older clientele that play there at the golf course. This would be huge for the older folks. It would probably lengthen the time in which they can practice because there's no bending over to put the ball on the tee. It's also great for folks that are handicapped. It gives you a good little indication of what it looks like. There's the slide right there. So I know a gentleman named Rick down there who uses a prosthesis. He had some hand issues, so he has a club that's strapped to his hand that he can't take off when he plays. And this would be great for him. It'd allow him to be able to, hit golf balls and not have to worry about somebody having to tee up golf balls for him. So there's a lot of advantages to that. And then the third component going in there is
trying to make it so that it's appealing to folks that don't even play golf. At these facilities around the country, these drive shacks and Top Golf facilities, the statistics tell us that 30% of the people that go to these facilities don't even play golf. They go there just for the fun and the entertainment of it. And what better way to do that than to create a self-service drink wall, which doesn't increase our labor at all, and just makes it a lot of fun to drink different beverages. Any kind of beverage you can put in a keg. So it's not just beer, it's not just alcohol, it's any kind of beverages. So looking to create a fun atmosphere for families, adults, kids, everybody. Get into a slide here that shows you what it would look like for a wall right there. Basically behind the wall you have your cooler unit, and the taps are in there behind it, and everything comes through the wall, and it's all done through self-service. So another fun, unique item to draw more people in there. Any questions on, I know you've all had a chance to look at that. Is there any questions from the PowerPoint? I know I went through it there real quickly, but you've seen a bunch of this stuff before from me, so. All right.
So Rick, just one quick question with,
Sure.
with the beverages and stuff. Would that have food in the same spot, or is
Absolutely.
that
Yeah.
Okay. I
So
got you.
we have our cafe there already in existence.
Right.
So
right.
we don't have to recreate the wheel there. We would like
Okay.
to enhance those services a little bit.
Okay.
Right now we do hot dogs and cold sandwiches.
Mm-hmm.
We'd like to put a fryer in there, a flat top grill, and one speed oven. And that would allow us to do all kinds of different types of pub menu, which is what people would enjoy in that environment.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
And is the other slide in there, the spreadsheet, or no?
I just put the.
Just the PowerPoint. That's
Just the
okay.
PowerPoint, yes.
So you all got the spreadsheet that shows the business model. Is there any questions on any of that information that I can answer for you? Mr. Loeffler's here to, sort of reinforce what I put together there. I tried to be as conservative as possible in my financial numbers that I put in there. For example, I used a 40% food cost of sales, food and beverage cost of sales, which is much higher than what we track normally. For credit card fees and things like that, I used a 5% fee in there, which is much higher than we track. We're normally around 3.5%. And I try to be conservative with the revenue numbers as well, just to show you that it is a very sound business model, and would really help us in going further to insulate ourselves against weather and creating a very strong financial model there at the golf course.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Mr.
so
Stamp.
council, I'm not sure that I had to step out of the room, but I mean, obviously, this is a project council is very aware of. Rich had put this in as a capital enabling project, part of our capital improvement program. And that has gone through. One of the items that the council wanted Rich to comment on was you all wanted him to provide a business plan, feasibility study type of material, and come back to council for consideration to move forward. But the program does have a green light as far as the capital enabling legislation at this point. I know that Rich reached out to Mr. Loeffler, who is certainly a proven expert in the area of creating business plans. So thank you, Cassandra, for making that connection, and Mr. Loeffler for helping Rich do this. So I think that as long as council is comfortable that you put together a business plan and looked at the feasibility, that's the goal this evening. And if so, they could move in a vote to support it, and the program could go forward.
Okay.
If I could just say one more thing, I just want to
Sure.
make one more address.
Yeah.
There was a letter that was brought to my knowledge of, it was sent anonymously,
Mm-hmm.
some folks in the community that didn't think this was the best use of resources for us here at the golf course.
Mhm.
And I thought that putting money into the cart paths and improvements in the parking lot and into the greens and things like that would be better use of the funds. And I agree with all of their things that they put in the letter. All of those things are important, and we should be looking to put money into those. But none of those projects generate revenue. And this project here would generate a substantial amount of revenue, which in turn would allow us to do those projects.
Right.
So this is sort of the cart before the horse kind of thing. So, and then for any of those that are watching or listening, if they have questions or concerns, I ask them to reach out to me. I'd love to hear your concerns. anyone who has them, and I'd like to sit down and talk with them, and I can answer any questions that they might have going forward.
Sounds great. Sounds great. So, Ms. Belkey?
Yeah,
Yep.
I think this is a great project for this county and actually the other counties. Having gone to Topgolf over across the bridge, there were 3 generations of a family playing Topgolf and hitting balls. There was a mother with 3 preteen girls hitting balls. This is such a great entertainment, bonding of families, and as you've pointed out, there aren't a lot of activities to do after dark in this county, and this fills that gap. And also, it instills, particularly in young people, the knowledge of golf. And golf is to me more than just exercise, physical exercise, but it's mental exercise too. I mean, you go after work and play golf, and you're hitting a ball, and you keep going forward, and the rest of the day just washes behind you, and you're just focused on the beginning. So, you know, from a physical and a mental health standpoint, golf is great, and to introduce another generation to it is beyond measure. Thank you.
When I'm teaching the kids, I always say we're learning lifelong lessons here, not just golf.
Right.
Couple questions. Looking at the spreadsheet, am I reading this correctly that we're looking at maybe a 13-month return on investment for
Exactly, yeah, and definitely less than 3 seasons of work there where you're going to get your return on investment. Absolutely.
net of labor and other expenses?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And the projections show even revenue per month. I'm curious whether that's simply an average figure. Do you expect some seasonality to the use of this?
For that spreadsheet, I kept it even just for simplicity purposes. Obviously, we would have ebb and flow, and I anticipate that the months where the golf course is not as favorable in the winter months, that the revenue would be higher in the entertainment facility. And then when we have it, you know, on the golf course, where the golf course is accessible and playable, you know, the June, July, August, September months where it's very favorable to be out there, then it wouldn't be as high. So you would have a little bit of ebb and flow in there, but overall, those numbers are still very solid. And the other thing too, if people are listening, the facility would operate sort of business as usual during the golfing daylight time. You come there to play golf, you get a basket of balls, you go over to the facility, you hit, you warm up, and you go play golf. And then in the evening hours, when the golf course is not available, that's when it would go to more of a, you know, entertainment facility, charged by the hour. You get more of a larger groups in there. I envision, you know, groups of 4 or 5, you know, as Milky was talking about, the 3 generations of families coming in there and participating at that point in time into the evening hours. And obviously business levels will dictate what those hours would be.
Mm-hmm.
I have perhaps a finance question on this one, which has to do with as the county puts capital funding into this project up front, as this pays back, clearly your intention with doing this is that we can bring the golf course closer to or even to an enterprise fund that is covering its expenses or better. Does ultimately any of that investment return back outside of the enterprise fund, or does it remain inside the enterprise fund?
Well, I know from the business model we have currently right now, we do just fine funding the operations. Where we struggle currently is when we have to fund capital projects. For example, the irrigation system, things like that. So this business model helps us to better fund those projects, and hopefully down the road, since we are an enterprise fund, we like to be able to stand on our own 2 feet and be able to take care of all of those capital fund projects within the operations of the golf course.
So of course Martha's here and she could speak into detail, but we've spoken of this, and it is our goal to ensure that enterprise funds are solvent and that the general fund is not subsidizing. So we will be working on a mechanism to ensure that any profitability will come back to pay off loans from the general fund. So, and eventually getting it to a point where it's self-sufficient.
So you're reminding me that we're seeking to structure this as a loan from the general fund.
Correct.
To the enterprise fund. Okay.
That's correct.
Great. Are we being asked for any action tonight?
Yes, you are. We will be asking council to take a vote to give a green light to move forward with the project once you're done with your questions.
Just like the veterans.
Mr. Stepp?
That question kind of answered mine. I had a quick statement and a quick question. Statement was, I love it. Question is, when do we start?
Hopefully tomorrow.
Yeah, Mr. Lawfer, would you like to say a few words? Or?
I would just comment that working with Rich and looking at the numbers he had originally put together, I usually use some conservative numbers. I got to tell you that his were more conservative than mine.
Right.
So I felt good about that.
That's good.
Good and at times bad.
Yeah.
Because I'm saying, all right, how much do you really need? But I think he did a great job in putting it together. I had at one place, I want to say maybe 40% for the cost of goods. I think it was 35. He put in 45. It was just a good package, very clean, easy to read. He helped me look at it, made sure I knew where we were on the course so I could see it. And I just thought it was great. And frankly, this says it can make some money. So, thank you.
That sounds great.
Thank you, guys.
Well, Rich, you know, like I said a little while ago, you're doing a fantastic job. You know, I was there at the tournament Sunday, and you know we had 130, 140 people there, and really, you know, the whole course is in such great shape, and the way you run it, and you know, not only you, but you know all the employees and stuff do such a great job of the course, and it's really a hats off to. That's tough taking care of that. Your weather conditions, everything, and to come up with this plan, it shows your dedication and your creativity to make us money. Not only that, the community, you know, helping the community, like Miss Melky said, in the evenings, you know, it looks like you're going to be open till 10, 11 o'clock, you know, and not only that, you know, if you've got 30 little cubicles, you know, it looks like to me that, you know, this could be an opportunity that the ongoing leagues could really do something league-wise, you know.
That's the goal in the off-season, you know, going into this time of year, you know, you got your fall league.
Right.
In the evenings, you could be playing Pebble Beach one week and Carnoustie the next.
I mean, that would be fantastic. So there's just so many opportunities for us.
There's a ton of opportunities.
I really want to commend you doing that, and that's going to be, it's going to be huge. I really feel like it's going to be big. So, being that said, okay, council, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, we got a motion second to go ahead and move this project forward. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
You guys got the green light, and I really appreciate you. Were very good tonight, Rich, on your time.
I was very
proud
aware
of
of
you.
that, sir.
Very proud of you. Okay.
Thanks,
Okay.
everybody. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Rich.
Okay. Okay, next on the agenda, we've got the public hearing on the Community Development Block Grant. Yep.
Good evening. Thank you very much for having us here this evening. While I open this up, I just wanted to say real quickly, as a United States Navy veteran, thank you very much for recognizing those who served.
Yes.
Maybe.
Is it on?
It says it's on.
There you go.
There we go.
Another couple quick clicks. There you go.
If you go up to slideshow up top, right to the right a little bit.
To the right, to the right.
Okay, that's good.
There you go.
Okay. We're getting there.
There you go.
All right. Oops. So we're here this evening for two public hearings. The second public hearing, as required by the Department of Housing and Community Development for any CDBG grant, the Community Development Block Grant projects. The first is the Chesapeake Multicultural Resource Center, and I have with me Matthew Peters, the Executive Director. So I'll go through my little spiel, and if you have any questions, I'm sure he can help fill in any questions that you may have. So this grant funding started in November of 2021 and will end November 30th of this year. The grant was for a community center with commercial kitchen, and they had a $119,000 approved for the commercial kitchen installation, construction, equipment, and they need to track beneficiaries after they've completed the construction project, and they are hoping to serve 1,500 individuals as part of this project. We held a pre-bid conference in April of 2022, and we had 6 bidders come to the site. We selected Beaver Dam Builders. Brandon Burrows is the operates the Beaver Dam Builders construction and is supervising the project. They're working on some interior renovations. As you can see, an interior wall was removed and relocated. And as part of that, they've had to also put in some new supports and foundations associated with the project. So as they're getting into it, they're finding it that they need to do a little more and a little more, as usual with a construction project. They've also replaced windows. They removed all the old windows and have inserted new replacement windows at this site. And they've had to relocate and reroute some plumbing associated with relocating the kitchen equipment and taking out a bathroom that was in this area. And they're also working on some exterior brickwork. As you can see, they are working to replace and repair some of the exterior bricks and pointing associated with the project. So for the new commercial kitchen and community service area, they are working on installing a grease trap. They are relocating the plumbing lines, putting in the new windows. They are doing some demolition and replacement of walls and support beams. They are relocating the electrical service for the new appliances that they have already purchased, and they've already purchased the new flooring for this project. They are moving forward, working on opening a vent through the exterior brick wall for the commercial kitchen oven, and they're working on the interior drywall and some more brick work on the exterior part of the building. So this has been a challenge to get the project started, but we're very happy to see that it's moving along, and we think that it will be an exceptional resource to the community. And I'll let Matthew speak a little bit on who is going to serve and the benefits of the program.
Yeah, so over the past year, our center has been being utilized more and more, even though if you've been to it, it's kind of a small, historic area, building, so it's kind of awkward when you go inside, lots of nooks and crannies, which makes it a nice homey feel, but difficult to bring in a lot of people into that center, so having a much larger area will allow a lot of our partner agencies. We do host now a AA for Hispanic community members. They meet almost nightly in our center, so they're going to really be able to utilize the space. We just started offering with a group of volunteers, sorry about that, citizenship classes, which we now do three times a week. So we're going to be able to utilize that big open space now for a lot more classroom work in the community. And we've had lots of asks from other partner agencies because they see all the foot traffic, especially in fall, spring, and summer months in front of our building. And they want to kind of tap into that, so we'll have more space for those partners to get in there and be face and face with a lot of the clients that use our services.
Okay.
Okay, that sounds great. So
it's a public hearing, so I guess we need to open it up.
So do we want to open it up? Okay, so what we'll do here, we'll go ahead and open it up for 3 minutes for individuals and 5 minutes for businesses. And we'll go ahead and open it up right now. So is anybody over here on my my left here. Okay. Anybody here on my right? Okay, want to come up and speak? Okay. All right. Okay. Well,
Mr. Callahan, just while
Yes,
we
Yep.
have this open on the record, council we were given the opportunity to tour this facility not too long ago, and so we've had the opportunity to see much of this work completed, and it really is impressive what has been done and how it's transformed that space. So this is it's good to see this funding doing such effective work in our community.
I would agree.
Yes,
Yep.
thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay. All right. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. At this time, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing on this.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
So we
Okay.
have one more public
Yep.
hearing.
Yep.
I want to welcome Meredith Gerard, the Executive Director of what was Midshore Pro Bono when we started this project and is now Shore Legal Access.
Okay.
So in January of 2023, Midshore Pro Bono adopted a plan to change their name to be inclusive of all 8 counties that they serve on the Eastern Shore and the services that they are providing. They also recently relocated to Idlewild Avenue. Again, this grant started in 2021 and will end next month, November 30th, 23. And they were approved for $50,000 through the CDBG funding for salaries, legal costs, and outreach. They needed to track beneficiaries to meet 500 low to moderate income persons, which they have exceeded. So since the grant started, they have expanded their outreach and have reached over 770 Talbot County residents so far with limited financial means to service. And they, since July 1st, they've done 340 residents. And they provide a wide variety of services. So they have monthly life planning clinics at the Brooklet Senior Center. They have monthly debtor assistance projects. And they provide the same day representation for tenants in Talbot County District Court every day of the week. In April of 2023, they also expanded the criminal record expungement work. They held 2 clinics in May and October, and they have a Know Your Rights event scheduled for November 7th. For the information about the changes in the criminal record expungement laws. So that's upcoming, so we wanted to make sure we announced that as well. And again, I'd like to give Meredith an opportunity to provide you with a little bit about what this grant funding has allowed them to do.
Well, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you
Mhm.
so much for having
Yep.
me tonight. And especially thank you to you all for this support. This investment in the community has made a tremendous difference for Talbot County residents. You know, when folks need legal help, these struggles are really invisible. And so when they call us, you know, it's an opportunity to help them with financial, legal issues that make a long-lasting impact on their lives and for the community. You know, collectively, our clients just last year were able to reduce their debt by $1.3 million. And, you know, that's just the beginning of the benefits that these services have. So we're so appreciative of this support. A lot of the funding really helped us to expand our services in Talbot County. Since we moved to Idlewild Avenue, we've had a big jump in the number of folks who are visiting us and seeking, seeking services, which is really great to see. And in addition, this funding specifically helped us with folks who really struggle with property-related and homeowner issues, heirs property, and title challenges. Those are things that are really complicated and tough for folks to resolve on their own. And so we really appreciate this investment because it really makes a difference for folks. From our perspective, legal representation should be available to everyone regardless of their financial means. And so when folks visit us, they're going to walk away with a lawyer in their court, in their corner, and your investment benefits everyone in our community. So thank you for that. Happy to answer any questions about this project or our programs generally.
Well, again, several council members had the opportunity, your invitation to visit at the time of the rollout of your new name and new identity. Congratulations on that. But it also afforded us the opportunity to speak with a number of your staff and certainly deepen my appreciation for the breadth of your services in the community. So thank you for that.
Mr. Depp? Okay.
I'll echo, thanks.
I've been around long enough to remember when Midshore Pro Bono started. And what you all have done to help the citizens of Talbot County and now many counties is just wonderful. And two of my very good friends offer their services to you, one legal and one accounting. And they're very blessed to work with you all and render that service. So keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Yep, and like my colleagues said, I really appreciate everything you've done, and your colleagues too. So, okay, so at this time, we'll go ahead and open it up for the public hearing. We'll give 3 minutes if somebody wants to speak, and 5 minutes for a group or an organization that wants to comment on it. And at this time, I'll open it up. Anybody here on the left here want to come on up? Anybody here on the right? Martha, you want to come up? Okay, all right, okay. All right, at that point, anybody else would like to come up and mention anything? If not, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Okay?
I'd just like to
Yep.
thank you again
Yep.
for your support for these
Yep.
local nonprofits and
Yep.
for your partnership with the Community Development
Yep.
Block Grant
Mhm.
funding. We've been able to do a few amazing things, and
Yep.
we're continuing to do that with the partnerships that we have now. So thank you very much.
Well, not only that, you're amazing too, to get us to this point and being able to do this for us and the community and these organizations that need our help. So you're doing such a fantastic job.
Thank you very much.
Yep, really appreciate it.
Appreciate
Okay.
that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Okay. So now we're going to open another public hearing. So, okay. So, Madam Secretary, you want to go ahead and read Resolution 350 for us, please?
Resolution number 350,
Mhm.
a resolution to place questions on the ballot at the 2024 general election
Mhm.
to amend Section 102 of the Charter of Talbot County to provide that the citizens of Talbot County shall be accorded equal treatment in all matters under the jurisdiction of the county government, regardless of age, disability, health, or genetic information, in addition to race, creed, sex, or national origin.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Secretary. Mr. Thomas, you want to just go ahead and brief us on this, if you would, please?
Yes, so I
Yeah.
think the title pretty much explains what the resolution is intended to do, but
Yep.
As this is a proposed charter amendment, if it has to be adopted by at least 4/5 of the council.
Okay.
And if that happens, then it would go on the ballot at the election in November 2024
Okay.
for a vote by the citizens.
Okay, that's great. Okay. All right, so I guess at this time, we'll go ahead and we'll open it up to public hearing for 3 minutes for individuals and 5 minutes for an organization wants to come up and talk about it. So let's start over here to the left here. Anybody want to come on up and talk about Resolution 350? Okay, anybody to the right here want to come on up and talk about Resolution 350? Okay, so I guess at this time, I think we have Council, Keisha had to leave tonight, so it might be best, we don't have to vote on this tonight, do we?
We do not. It's eligible for a vote
Vote.
after second
Mhm.
read or public hearing, but it does not have to be done tonight. In fact, I believe the deadline to submit a ballot request to the County Board of Elections is roughly summer of 24, so
Okay.
we have a little time.
Okay, that's good. So if council's okay, wait till all 5 of us are here, and is that okay with?
I'm
with
perfectly
Bert?
content
Is
to-
that okay?
Do we need
Okay.
a motion for that?
Yep. For?
I don't believe
I
so.
don't think it requires a motion.
No? Okay, so we'll just kind of wait till all 5 of us are here and we're all ready to vote.
Right, so we'll just have
Okay.
that on the agenda for the
Yeah.
next meeting.
Okay, that sounds great. All right. Okay, moving on. Madam Secretary, you want to go ahead and eligible for vote, Bill 1548, you want to go ahead and read that into the record?
Bill number 1548, a bill to authorize Talbot County, Maryland, the county to borrow not more than $800,000 in order to finance and refinance improvements to certain wastewater facilities in the county, and to effect such borrowing by the issuance and sale of one or more series of its general obligation bonds payable from ad valorem taxes to be levied by the county, exempting the bonds from the provisions of sections 19-205 and 19-207 of the local government article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, authorizing the consolidation of separate series of bonds into one or more bonds, authorizing the refunding of such bonds, and relating generally to the issuance and sale of such bonds for such purposes.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and open this up. Anybody, well, I don't, no hearing, so I'm sorry. So this is eligible for vote. Madam
President Callahan,
Yeah,
real
yeah,
quick,
sure,
could we
yeah.
just get a, just for public record, could we get just a quick synopsis, Mr. Thomas? Maybe you can
Sure.
provide that for us, just so
Yeah.
everyone knows what
Absolutely.
they're voting on, or
Yeah.
we're voting on?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Clark, do you want to address the?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Stepp.
Council, this is associated with the sewer collection system work we're doing down in St. Michael's. So this is through rural development, and once we're in the process of trying to close the loans. We've already completed the work, so this is kind of the last step in securing that funding. So this is ultimately allowing us to borrow up to $880,000 of money that was utilized in upgrading the sewer collection system.
Okay. Any other questions from council? Okay.
So I know that we've done well with improving our bond rating, or maintaining our good bond rating, and I presume that with this we'll continue to get, we expect to get favorable bond rates. We probably won't know until this is actually put out to the market.
Martha Sparks, Finance Director of Talbot County. Actually, these bonds are being issued by, this loan is from USDA Rural Development.
Okay.
So they're not going out into the open market.
Sounds great. Okay. Thank you.
And that presumably means favorable rates that we get through USDA.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's paid for by.
Yeah, yes, and it is paid for by through the fees for the sewer users.
Okay, gotcha.
And so this is not paid for with, county tax dollars. It's paid for by the users of the
Sure.
sewer system.
But we still want the best deal for our ratepayers.
We do. Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We do. And generally, we receive that by from USDA Rural Development and MD when we have those.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Sparks.
Okay.
Any other questions? No. Okay, you're over there smiling anyway. That's good. That's good. Okay. All right. So we'll go ahead and, or any other questions or anything? Okay. All right, so it's eligible for vote, so let's, Madam Secretary, can you call the vote, please, on 1548?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Haith?
Aye.
Okay.
Your voice is deep.
Okay. All right. Madam Secretary, it's his clay stuff now.
Good evening,
Good
council.
evening. How are you?
We have our county manager report for the evening. The first, I have boards and committee appointments for council's consideration. The first one is for the Midshore Behavioral Health Regional Behavioral Health Advisory Committee, requesting the reappointment of Mr. Tim Hain and Ms. Sharon Dundon to that board.
I'll move the reappointments as requested by the board.
Second?
Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
The second, I'm requesting the appointment of Dory Gow Lambert to the Social Services Board of Directors.
Okay.
I'll move the appointment as requested by the board.
Second?
Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote, please?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
And the next is the Upper Shore Aging Incorporated Board of Directors. Mr. Bill Shreves has submitted his resignation, and I know council will probably want to bring him in at a later date to just honor him for his years of service to the community. They are requesting the appointment of his replacement, Pamela Limberry.
Okay.
I'll move the appointment of Pamela Linbury as requested by that board.
Second?
Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
And finally, under boards and committee appointments, I just want to announce that there is an upcoming vacancy for the Planning Commission. Should you be interested in serving, please complete a request for appointment form found on the county's website and submit to the county manager's office by Wednesday, November 8th, 2023 at noon that day. And again, that's for an opening for a member of the Planning Commission. And that completes the board and committee appointments. Council, I'll move into a number of items. I'm looking for your request. I'd invite Cassandra to come forward. We have a request from the Department of Economic Development and Tourism for a recommendation of award of bid number 2306, Talbot County Visitor Center Feasibility Study. I'm going to turn it over to Cassandra, and I'll fill in any blanks that might surface. Cassandra.
Great. Thank you. Hello again. We received grant funding from the Maryland Rural Economic Development Fund. You keep hearing those projects come through. We have 14 of those, and this is one of the ones we received funding for. We put out an RFP. We accepted bids. We received 4. And we conducted interviews with each of the candidates. And ultimately, it was a very difficult decision because they were all very qualified. But we selected Becker Morgan Group as the one we felt could create the product that we are looking for both phases 1 and 2. Phase 1 is the research, and phase 2 is site selection. And we believe that they're the best candidate for this. I have a committee of tourism board members and staff members to do the interviews, and we all agree that's the right candidate.
And the only thing I'll add, council, this is, as far as funding, this is a CIP project that council did approve. $37,500 is a grant, and the remainder of $11,000 Cassandra would be able to supply in her tourism budget for a total of $48,500.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll move for the letter of support as requested.
Okay.
Second?
Okay, the motion in second for a letter of support. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote, please?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
And while Cassandra's up here, we have a request from the Eastern Shore Entrepreneurship Center for a letter of support for Economic Development Administrative Public Works Grant. And I'm going to turn it over to Cassandra on this as well.
Thank you, sir. I submitted this request on behalf of ESAC, Eastern Shore Entrepreneurship Center. They requested a letter of support, and I let them know that we have to go through council for those. He feels that it will strengthen his application to the Economic Development Administration of the United States of America. And that's for the Public Works Grant of $500,000. That will match the grant also given to them through the Rural Maryland Economic Development Fund.
The only thing I'll add is there are no county dollars going toward this request.
Correct.
Okay.
I'll move the letter of support.
Second?
Okay, we got a motion second for a support letter. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote, please?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good job.
Thank you, Cassandra.
Okay.
Next, I'll bring your county engineer forward, Ray Clark. We have a request from the Department of Public Works, recommendation to award bid number 2307, Talbot County Public Safety Complex Phase 1, building renovations, Easton, Talbot County, Maryland. As you read in your agenda packet, the Department of Public Works is seeking approval to award to the lowest responsive bidder, Willow Construction. in the amount of $3,170,000. A total of 5 bids were received. The county engaged Willow Construction and Value Engineering for the project, resulting in a cost saving of $730,000 by using the existing HVAC system. There are sufficient funds in the budget for this project. Ray is here to add any additional information for council. Ray?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Any questions from council?
Well, I just, I'm grateful that we've managed to get through this process and get this really significant cost reduction. I want to congratulate all involved who were able to identify the opportunity there to get us to this point so that it will be within budget. So thank you. Thank you for you and your team's good work on this.
We appreciate Willow as well, and Davis Bonfordell, part of the team as well.
And,
Go ahead.
and I know that this has been published, but just for the record, for anybody who's tuning in, could you say where the building is and what it's for?
Sure. This is the building is actually located at 28640 St. Mary's. I'm sorry, not St. Mary's, Mary's Court. I keep saying St. Mary's. Mary's Court in Easton. This is going to be the new public safety complex, which will house the sheriff's office on the first floor and the Department of Emergency Services on the second floor. So it's kind of exciting for us.
Yeah, let me just piggyback just with my public safety background. This is very exciting for Talbot County. This is a very nice building that's going to serve for the next probably 30 years for our public safety sector. It's going to be a new office for the sheriff's office. It's going to be a new 911 center, and it'll be something we're very proud of, and this is the first step in that process. We're glad that we have Willow Construction, who's done us well in the past, and clearly the effort for value engineering, and Chuck, I have to recognize you for your help on that. You know a little bit about construction, and Ray's help, so it's exciting. So Ms. Bulky, thanks for allowing me to give some background.
And just another question. What is the time frame for this project?
Actually, because we're utilizing the HVAC system, the existing HVAC system, we're actually going to be able to accelerate the project. So we're hoping that we can probably see the first floor renovations being completed probably by the summer, if not earlier. The other thing, just so the council is aware too, in the general public, Willow is a local contractor, which is also a benefit for us as well. So.
And this is tied into the demolition of the old Black & Decker facility. We know we have to move the sheriff's operation out of there. So the sheriff will be the first to move in, and we hope to have that happen by summer of 2024, summer.
I think we were talking fall.
Fall
about this time next year.
And then we'll be moving forward to initially make the second floor a backup 911 center, and then in time eventually transition that to a primary 911 center with another backup being identified. So it's a phased approach, but that's a little bit of the schedule.
Yeah, and I just want to chime in too, Ray. You've done such an excellent job in putting the whole team together. You know, we had several meetings, and you took the lead on a lot of that stuff. And you know, I really commend Willow for coming back and really trying to help the county, you know, sort of value engineer all this stuff. And Clay, really appreciate you leading the pack on that too. So it took a team to get it to where it's at. And like you say, this is something that's going to be there for 30, 40 years. So it's a big deal, and you've done a great job. And I'm excited for our safety program, you know. So
I think we're all excited. So
we are.
I would say at this point in time, we have a good team with Willow,
we
Davis
really
Bonfordell, and the county, and all the different department heads are involved. So.
Yep, exactly. So, okay, that being said, is there a motion?
I'll move to award the bid as recommended.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second to go ahead and award the bid. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote, please?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Thank you,
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you, Ray.
Yep.
And have Preston come up, your Director of Parks and Recreation. The first item that Preston has, let's see here. We have a request from the Department of Parks and Recreation to award change order for bid number 2215. As you read in your agenda packet, Department of Parks and Recreation seeking council approval to award a change order to Willow Construction LLC in the amount of $99,501 and 69 cents related to parking lot lighting. And I'm gonna let him, finish that off. Funding for this project would come from contingency, and there are adequate funds in contingency to to cover the cost.
Okay.
So this was part of the project that was not, I would say, clearly explained in the RFP. There was some open interpretation as to who is responsible for the lights. Ultimately, Willow was not responsible, so this is a change order for that. What's nice is that Willow already has the electrician on site. All the work is to be done there, so probably this is the quickest way to get it done, because otherwise there probably wouldn't be an electrician that would be able to do it in a short amount of time.
Sure, right, okay. All right, any questions from council?
Nope.
Okay. All right, is there a motion?
So moved.
Okay,
Second?
okay, we got a motion second to move forward with the electric and the lights. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote, please?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
And we have another request from the Department of Parks and Recreation to award contracts to 2 jobs related to bid number 22-15, Talbot County Community Center Gymnasium addition. As you read in your agenda packet, the Parks and Recreation Department is seeking council approval to award contracts to 2 jobs associated with the gym addition. I'm going to hand it over to Preston, and I'll fill in any blanks if I need to.
So again, this had to do with some of the earthwork that was being done around the building. Some of it's with the entrance, obviously with the new gymnasium. One of the entrances aims right at the gymnasium, so didn't think it was prudent to leave that road there. So taking that out, taking some sidewalks out, and then moving some of the light pole and light fixtures to add some more parking around front. So going this route, we have a savings of about $62,000.
Sounds great. And just want to highlight Preston's due diligence on this. He could have come forward with a change order for $129,855.63, but he instead went out and came up with a solution that in which is a request this evening for $45,345.66. So because of his due diligence, he's saving the county taxpayers money. So
great.
Just want to recognize that.
Good. Any questions?
No questions.
This too is coming out of contingency?
No, there is,
No, so this was actually be piggybacked on another program open space project, so this would be covered by state grant funds.
Any other questions from council? Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Okay, we got a motion second to go ahead and do some dirt work and various things for
Mr.
community
Callahan?
center. Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Thank you. A couple things. First off, we are just a shameless plug. We are having our Halloween event tomorrow night for the kids and adults. So if anybody wants to come out from 6 to 8 tomorrow night, and you probably should put Cassandra's Visitor Center right there out by the community center. So solves that second part of that problem.
I got you. Okay. All right. Thank you, Preston. I appreciate it.
we'll have a community center, a hospital, and a visitor center.
There you go. There you
They
go.
have an old house there. Your college used to.
And council, the last thing I have, I just want to make an announcement. Midshore Household Hazardous Waste Drop-Off Day is scheduled for Saturday, October 28th, 2023, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at 26375 Hobbs Road in Denton, Maryland.
Okay.
And that completes your county manager report for the week. Thank you, council.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Snape. Good job. I appreciate it. Okay. Next on the agenda is the public comment. Mr. Lesher, what do we have?
And we have just one
Okay.
signed up in advance for public comment, and that is Terrence Bernard.
Okay. Come on up, Terrence.
Terrence Bernard,
Yeah. Good evening.
Easton resident. Greeting council. Last evening at 8:15, I was heading home from a CERT class at the Talbot County Emergency Building on Port Street at the bypass. For information about that, I volunteered to take a 7-week community emergency response training course. Now to continue with heading out of there, I headed on Port Street to Idlewild Park. Streets at this evening time were not lighted well, and I noticed two bicyclers riding on the opposite side of the road and heading in the incorrect direction. They were riding on the wrong side of the road. Their bicycles did not have rear lights or front headlamps. They did not have on light color clothing to aid in visibility at night. Bicycles are to ride with the direction of traffic and obey traffic laws. Then, as I am at Idlewild Park at Dutchman's Lane, there were two different bicyclers riding on the wrong side of the road and in the wrong direction without front or rear lights. I am still concerned there is not enough concern about bicyclers in this county or city. I regularly see someone on a battery-operated bicycle without a helmet, and those are required on battery-operated bicycles. Whom in the county or city is going to ensure bicyclers get trained or follow procedures? Everyone does not live on Facebook. I am not a Facebook fan or use it regularly. I hope there is a plan other than posting something on Facebook and consider it resolved. There are young, old, and aged out on bicycles. Do schools educate bicyclers about rules and regulations? Does the MVA educate street riding bicyclers about rules and regulation? Does the county and city hold bicycle education? I do not see much prevention towards bicyclers. The rules, safety, with seeing all these unsafe bicycle riding conditions. After weeks of CERT classes on protecting, responding, caring for the injured to protect citizens, people, then notice 4 bicyclers riding at night on bikes without headlights, front or rear. These are injuries waiting to happen, plus no head protection. The fire chief last night gave an example of how his hard helmet saved him when a brick fell from an overhead breakdown of a fire he was putting out. How forgiving is asphalt going to be against someone's head on an impact from a vehicle because the bicycler was in the wrong place at the wrong time? That's all. I mentioned a few comments before. It's been a couple months probably here, so it's just a continuation that, you know, presenting to council. You want to save lives and people, and I see less and less about the bicyclers out there. Coming on Dutchman's Lane here at 5:30, I was on the road heading for this meeting. There was a motorcycler going towards the dump that direction, no helmet on. You know, there's just a lot of looseness around here. I hear the term that we're a small town, but you know, there must be odds. You have to have so many accidents or deaths, fatalities, before something can be instilled or start working on a program. I don't know. If we have 30,000 residents here in Talbot County, then there must be quotas.
Well, we really appreciate that information, and I would suggest with that great information that you get us, you might want to think about going to one of the town meetings and make sure they understand some of that information you got that maybe could help on that behalf with the town. Okay?
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
That's all we have signed up in advance.
Okay, so I'm just going to open it up. Would anybody like to come on up here and say a few words? Okay, all right. So I guess we'll end it up with council comments. Who wants to say something? Mr. Stepp, how about you?
I will. I'll lead us off. So, a lot of big events coming up before our next county council meeting. We've got our Board of Education open meeting. We've all talked about that earlier. So we're talking about the legislation, how we're going to move forward with that. That's this upcoming Monday at 5 p.m. Keep me honest, guys, right here in this room.
Library.
Oh, it's at the library? Okay, to be determined. Halloween, of course. I would like to wish all of our kids and parents, the entire county, a good, happy, and safe Halloween. Next Tuesday, we of course have Veterans Day. It's wonderful to have our veterans in here to recognize them, but I want to make sure we recognize all of our men and women in uniform, both past and present, and then also a successful and safe waterfowl weekend, which is coming up couple weekends from now. So
Yep.
wish everyone a safe and happy time.
That's good. Mr. Lesser?
Just to note that I was thoroughly impressed with the turnout for Talbot County Resource Day on Saturday, October 14th at Easton Elementary School, and want to offer my congratulations and thanks to Catherine Poe and all of the volunteers who pulled that event together, along with the many organizations who I think reached a lot of potential clients through that event. Congratulations to all.
Thank you, Mr. Lesher.
I'd
Ms.
just
Belkey.
like to state, with all the international turmoil, that we pray in our own way for peace in this world.
I would agree with that. So, and I'll end it. I just want to thank everybody for coming tonight. I want to thank staff for all you do for us as council. And Cassandra, out there, you did great tonight. You're hard at work. You got a lot of good things that are happening here in the town, in the county. We really appreciate you looking out for us. That's for sure. So, being that said, Mr. Lesher, you want to go ahead and?
The County Council's next meeting will be held on Tuesday, November 14th, beginning at 6 o'clock p.m. The council will be convening an open session at 4:30 p.m. and then adjourning into closed session as listed on the statement for closing that meeting. On Tuesday, November 7th at 3 o'clock p.m., the County Council will be meeting with representatives from the Maryland Department of Transportation for the annual Consolidated Transportation Plan meeting. Following that meeting, the council will be meeting with the local delegation, Senator Mounts, Delegate Adams, and Delegate Hutchinson, to discuss the upcoming legislative session. Both meetings are open to the public and will take place at the Talbot County Free Library, Easton Branch, 100 West Dover Street in Easton. Therefore, is there a motion to adjourn this meeting and reconvene as noted?
So moved.
Second?
Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Okay, good night, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.